Afternoon guys, Wednesday the 8th of July 2020. This is the last day that I'm off work, back to work again tomorrow guys. So I've just popped up to do a little check on these youngsters. I haven't actually checked the crops yet. However, the fact there's none of them running around squeaking their heads off would suggest they've all had something to eat or drink, at least. And I'm going to be doing a check on these in a couple of minutes. As you can see, they're already getting a bit braver and they're starting to now jump up on top of the feeder. They were all gathered round the grit pot here and staying close to the water. So we're going to assume that they are now eating and drinking, most of them. Normally, if they haven't managed to find any food or water, you will see the pigeons running round, squeaking their heads up and flapping their wings. That's usually a good indication that they haven't had anything to eat or drink. And this, of course, now is day 3 of leaving the nest. Now I'm just going to go and put the kettle on and make myself a quick cup of coffee. I've been over in the polytunnel and watered all the plants, and really pleased with everything that's going on in there. Getting some nice cucumbers on now as well. So I'm going to make a quick cup of coffee guys, and then we're going to get the other 4 youngsters that needs to come out of the stock loft, and we're going to put them in here with these. And we're going to go through the same process again. So I'll set the video up and I'll just let you see the new introductions to these ones. See you later guys, bye. Afternoon guys, and another warm welcome to Allotment. I was having a little bit of a think last night when I went home, looking back on some of the footage while I was doing the creating of the videos, and it suddenly dawned on me that I had mentioned in the little cabin where I keep the corn bins and medicines, etc. Now, just for the record guys, a lot of people are probably not going to agree with me on this one. And they're probably going to say no, never, but I can assure you this is true. I do have some medicines in the loft, and I'm not going to deny that in any way, shape or form. They are used only in an emergency. If I have an extremely valuable racing pigeon that is on death's door basically, I'll use medicine. That is very, very rare. I'm very grateful to say. Now, when you're racing pigeons, it's a totally different ballgame. When you're mixing your birds in baskets with other people's pigeons and you're exposing them to other people's birds, they do need, I believe they do need an element of protection. The standard routine medication, as they call it, which is for trichomoniasis, canker, coccidiosis, when you have a damp loft, coccidiosis can breed in that environment, and they can live with an element of coccidiosis, but if you heighten that level, it can be detrimental to the bird, which undermines and shows out as lots of other illnesses and leaves the bird weak and exposed to viral infections and all sorts of horror stories. Now then, I'm just going to tell you what I personally do, and this is just my choice, and I'm probably going to get a bit of backlash on this from some top racing pigeon fanciers or something to that effect if they ever stumble across my videos. Now, my birds, they get the regular corn, and I change that according to whether I'm training, flying, or they're just pottering around the loft, or not even getting out of the loft, as the case may be, due to the amount of peregrines and sparrowhawks and everything we have in this area. So they get just the corn, and water out of those IBCs, which is just rainwater. And in those IBCs, prior to them being filled, I put bleach in that IBC. Now we're talking a minute amount. We're talking 20 drops in 1,000 litres. And then when I'm actually drawing off the water from the IBCs for the pigeons, you've seen in previous videos, I put 1 drop of bleach in a 25 litre container. And that goes to the pigeons and the chickens alike. Now, I'm not trying to be something smart here. And again, this is just the way I do things. But I have very, very little illness amongst my birds. And I strongly believe that it's due to the fact of that little tiny bit of bleach which keeps bacteria at bay. Now, people have all sorts of magic potions and measures that they do and they use that cost an arm and a leg on the market. And basically pigeon fanciers are being taken for a ride, in my opinion. This is my own personal opinion, guys. And the good old bottle of 23p bleach, in my opinion, does the same job, to a greater or lesser degree. You're also going to be extremely surprised to hear this. I don't canker my birds either. All those birds were paired up at the beginning of the season, and none of them were treated for anything. And I mean anything. They didn't even get treated for canker, which is the normal course of treatment prior to pairing pigeons. Now I might fall on my backside sharply at some point, but I've been doing this for years, and I'm pleased to say, touch wood, I've had very, very little illness among my birds. And for what it's worth, guys, what have you got to lose? You just have to be obviously realistic with the measures of the bleach. 20 drops in an IBC, 1,000 litres. 20 drops, that's just tip in the bottle and watch it drip. 20 drops in an IBC and 1 in a 25 litre container. And I give this to the birds, the pigeons and the chickens. And more often than not, the birds die of natural causes or old age, which is just life cycle. Again, this is just what I do, guys. It's not an instruction. I just thought you might find it interesting, that's all. I won't deny I do have medicines, powerful medicines, in there. The number 1 best medicine on the market for racing pigeons is Baytril. And I always have a small amount of that. You only put a couple of millilitres in those drinking water. And it's saved pigeons' lives in the past. And I do have a bottle always on standby, on the off chance. But I very, very, very rarely need to use it, guys. So, for what it's worth, see if you can take anything from this. I'm not sure whether you can or not. I'm just going to have this cup of coffee, guys. Then we're going to go and get those other young birds out of the stock loft. And we're going to get them in there, and we'll do a little video on, show you the other 4 pigeons that's coming off the nest today. And hope you find it of some benefit and interest. Stay with me, guys, and I'll catch you later. So just another little thought for the day as well, guys. Out in the wild pigeons don't have any medication. They don't have access to medication. Nobody bothers to go and give them some medicine because they don't look very well. And I believe over the years we've weakened the immune system of racing pigeons per se, as a result of giving them this portion and that portion and all the claims of additives being beneficial to racing pigeons and give them super form and perform out of this world. And it's all a big gimmick, in my opinion, guys, and an expensive one at that. And again, I'm going to go back to what I said. Doing my methods, I've built up a really strong immune system on my birds, and I don't often see a sick pigeon. And I just can't drive that home enough, guys. I've had pigeons for 40 years, and I too went down the same route. Magic potion here, magic potion there, and oh, it works wonders. I'm afraid there is no such thing, guys. Good old clean water and food is the recipe. Plenty of minerals, obviously, and grits with the salts in. Salt's actually a very important ingredient in racing pigeons, but don't overdo it. Right, so again, for what it's worth, guys, I just thought I would put my 2 pence out there for what it's worth to anybody. Even seasoned fanciers might find this rather interesting. But I try not to, at all, medicate my birds in any way, shape or form. And I have, as you see from the footage, healthy birds, and nearly always do have. I do get the occasional sick pigeon, but it's usually one that I've bought in, put into quarantine, and then it goes sick on me. And I have saved pigeons' lives in that way, using medicines. But I won't use the medicines unless I absolutely have to, and it's a life and death situation. See you later, guys. Right, guys, I'm back in the young bird section again, where we're putting the young birds. I just came in here, and you remember in an earlier video I said the little Trigonino had busted its wing and basically it couldn't fly. It's now flying again. I've just witnessed it flying up. Okay, it's not high from the ground, but it did fly up there on its own as I walked through the door. So it looks like it's on the mend, guys, and she's at least been able to get back on the perches again now. Again, you'll see the little young birds through the other side there. The the double factor indigo hen and the yellow-pied cock aren't really going through the motions since the change around in this loft and introducing the youngsters and removing the other birds that was in here. It's threw them off a little bit, and they're not going through the motions of breeding or pairing anymore. So we'll let them settle down for a week or so. They might just go back down, and if they don't, we'll separate them out of this loft once these youngsters are all feeding and eating anyways. Came up with another idea as well, guys, around the frill stencil cock over in that loft. In the end of this loft here, I have 7 Stab Van Reeds cockbirds. Once we have that section cleaned out at the weekend, I'm going to remove those 7 cocks and put them in the cocks loft down at the other end of the allotment. And I'm then going to select the frill stencil cock and 1 or 2 others that I want to change the mates on, and they will go in that section to pick themselves a box, so a totally different loft. They'll all pick a new box out there, and then I'll pick specific ends to go with those birds. So there will be some later breeding in the year, but it's mainly around to try and get the birds that I really want. I have to say I'm delighted with what I have actually already got this year, and I've achieved most of my ends. I've got some really pretty almonds, stippers this year. A couple of Qualmans, we might get another couple of those on the next nest. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how the breeding season's gone, in spite of being so late at pairing up. So I'm just going to sit you down again on the little feeder there, and we're going to just show you these new birds that we're introducing to them. This is the last 4 for now. There is 2 more in off the recessive hen, which obviously she lost the first set of eggs, and the second set, they're only about 10 days, 11 days old or something like that, guys. So we'll set you down and we'll let you have a quick look at these, and I'll stop babbling, and yeah, enjoy the video, guys. Right, so the first pigeon I want to show you here, guys, is a brown. Now this might seem obvious to your average non-pigeon fancier. However, you can get a dilute form of brown, or blue even, which is called silver. And some of the browns can come out and actually replicate the silver, but and they get confused as being what's called a silver in the pigeon world. But this one here, it really is a brown, and it's a very, very tightly checked brown, which gives it the impression of a solid colour. If you open the flights out, you can see the varying shades of this brown. Now, when they're sunbathing and they're out in the sunshine, these birds, the brown birds, they start to go light with the sun. It actually lightens the feathers. Now, what I'm trying to achieve here, guys, is as I said earlier on the one of the other videos, the stippers, almonds, that we're trying to breed with as many different colours as possible. And I'm hoping, now the brown is a recessive gene, and I'm hoping to try and get a crossover to a brown stipper. What if I don't achieve that, it's another colour to put into the stipper. So you can get chocolate, you get brown, you can get the almond nut colour, you can get blacks, greys, whites. So we're trying to get as many colours into these birds as I possibly can. And obviously along the way you're going to get your fair percentage of your what we call a standard colour. Now these aren't standard in racing pigeon type either, guys. They are standard in colour breeding projects. So again, it's just been fed and watered. It's got a crop like a balloon, but we're going to show it where the water is. Just like that. And then we're going to let it go. To go and join the others. Now what will happen is these are a few days behind those ones, but they're not old enough yet to start bullying. So they won't bully these ones. There is a sort of a pecking order, but they won't bully them. And this is what I'm talking about when I say we're trying to get as many different colours into a almond stipper as possible. And this is one of the best looking almonds I've ever bred, guys. And at this age, coming off the nest with this many colours, lots and lots of good tail markings. Some nice feathering starting to show up in here, and we're getting some browns, chocolate brown in here as well, guys. So I think I have actually achieved in the very first nest of now getting the brown into the almonds and stipper as well. A nice dark brown there. We also have the almond casting. I'm not sure how well this is shown, but we've got the almond cast of a very, very light almond, and then we've got some slightly darker markings, and of course these will improve even more when they go through the first to get rid of the juvenile molt. We've got plenty of black marks on the back as well, and we've got lots and lots of nice marking around the chest, and lots of flicking around the back of the neck here, and likewise here. This is the nest mate to that brown, guys. Little dip in the water, show you where it is. Again, this is a cock because the female is an almond. Female almonds can only breed male almonds stippers, whereas I've told you before, the cocks can breed cocks and hens because they're sex linked. We'll put that one down as well, guys, next to its sister, which I believe the brown is a hen. Now then, this one here, guys, some people may never have seen this colour in pigeons before. They may have. It is pretty common, but some people may never have seen this colour. Now, I showed you an opal a few days ago. It was just like a brown cast over the flights. This is another variation of the opal gene. And if you can see this, I'm trying to get it as close as I can. Where the bars are, here, you can see pink, tinges of pink cast in. And on the ends of the actual feathers, you'll see these little light spottings on the ends of the flights as well, guys. another way to tell an opal, this is the dominant opal as well, there are recessive opals. On the tails you get what's called a ribbon of lighter colouring across the tail, and that's common with all opals. You see the difference slightly. I'm trying to get this as best as I can, get the light to catch it. You see that little light albescent strip across the tail there, guys. So this is an opal bar blue pied. I'm going to give it a little dip in the water. Just until it gets a little dip on the end of the beak, and then we're going to sit it down here and let it go. And then last but not least is the nestmate to that one. I think that one potentially is going to be a female, the opal bar. It might prove me wrong, but I think that one is going to be a female or a hen. And this is the nestmate, which I think is going to be a cockbird or male. And this is the nestmate. You see the very similar look alike. This is a blue pied because of the white spotting around the head. If they had white and spots and patches around the head and in the flights, then they are pied. If they don't have them on the head and only in the wings, then they're white flighted, what we call a white flighted pigeon. But this one has both, and this one here is a blue pied. And you notice the black marks down the wing are solid black, unlike its nestmate. And there we go, guys. We'll let that one go as well. And then we're going to get the lid back over the water so that they don't fall in. I'm just looking in the corn trough as well, and I can see quite a lot of corns being eaten out of here again. Now, as I say, I still haven't checked the other youngsters yet to see if they have food in the crops. But to be honest, if they'd eat early this morning, they're going to be partially empty again now and topping up again before the end of the night. I'm not going to video this. I'm just going to take the basket out, then I'm going to run round, catch one or two of the youngsters and just check the crops and see if they've actually got any food in there. And then I'm going to fill up the feeder with plenty of corn so that they've got it there ready to start on later or in the morning, guys. See you later. Bye. Right, guys, so we're 3 days down from moving these first lot of young birds, and I'm delighted to tell you that every single one of those youngsters now, every one without fail, have got a little bit of food and they've all got water in the crop. So you see, it really is beneficial, this repetition, 2 or 3 days of dipping the youngsters' beaks in the water just to show them where the water is. They can survive 36 hours without food, but they won't survive 36 hours without water, guys, without fluid. So it's beneficial and it's worth doing. Yes, it's time consuming, but it's beneficial. Something else I want to just show you here as well, guys. These are the young birds. So the I'm trying to do this blindfolding basically. Right, so the one on the end there, that's the double factor indigo. She was born last year. Then we have the little tumbler next to that, again a year old. Next to that, up on the top perch, we have the oldest of these young birds, the almond. Next to that, we have the yellow-pied cock. Underneath that, we have the first opal that we showed you, the opal check with the brown casting. Up on the next to top, and the only reason it's not on the top is because it's fully occupied. And all the other youngsters that are down here still finding the feet. I've no doubt that 1 or 2 more of these can actually fly as well, but I just got a bit of a shock. But as you can see, 3 days from leaving the nest, and there's at least 2 youngsters up on the top of upper perches, and these are the ones we just brought in now. Well, 3 of them anyways. Just for the record as well, guys, particular little almond here isn't going anywhere. This one's staying with me. That one will be going in the stock loft next year. Probably one of the nicest and well marked almonds I've bred ever. That one, along with another one in here, which came off the reduced cock, next to the little mystery yellow mottled hen. We've got the almond behind that as well, off the reduced cock. That won't be going anywhere either, guys. They're destined for the stock loft for next year. Okay guys, hope you've enjoyed this little update, and we'll catch you later. Bye. Okay guys, as always, it's a final roundup. If you're new to this channel and you've just came along, inquisitive, taking a look, please do hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up and a like, and then hit the little bell icon on the right, and that'll alert you every time I put up any new videos, and that would really be appreciated. Thank you. Right guys, just a bit of a final roundup. As you've seen those last 4 young birds we just put in there, and you see the progress on the other youngsters that came off the nest and how quick they develop. In the wild, birds basically have to develop very quickly, and that's all part and parcel of the makeup of the birds. But you might be rather surprised, for those who have never ever took an interest in racing pigeons, or for those who have actually came along for the videos on racing pigeons. Yes, the developments are surprising. 3 days, now all feeding and drinking, and several of them up on the top perches. Like I said, I normally do like to take them off the nest around 21 to 24 days old. That keeps them on the ground just that little bit longer to make sure they do feed and drink. Because sometimes what can happen is if you get them off too soon, they start to fly up on the perches and they'll just sit up there on the top perches and they forget to come down. And obviously hunger does get the better of them, but it can slow the development basically. I've found that anyways. So that's why I like to take them off when the tails are only sort of that length. Not only that, I've found the younger they are, surprisingly, the quicker they learn to eat. I don't know why that is, but yeah, they just do eat quicker. I wouldn't advise taking them off any sooner than 21 days, and usually 21 to 24, depending on the size of the bird, etc. Now, I've just had another quick look in this the other stock loft where the frill stencil cock is, and as you know, I've still got 2 youngsters in there off the reduced opal hen and the brown bar cock, and I just thought I'll just go and check on the development on those, and they are starting to get some colour now. Now then, I don't want to get excited too soon, but it looks like, on first look, it looked like 2 brown light checkers. But on closer inspection of the smaller one, it does look like there's some opaline in there as well. Or it could even be a reduced. Now, I might be wrong. But it does look like there could be a light checker and either a reduced opal brown or a reduced. There's still a bit on the small side yet, guys, but super excited with those ones as well, guys, to see what comes out. Either way, even if they just come out brown checks, the cock is going to be carrying the reduced gene, which and the opal reduced and opal gene, which is I want to keep those genes, and I only have those 2 reduced birds. The cock that's in the bigger stock loft paired to the almond hen, and then I have the reduced hen that's now paired to that brown cock. It won't go back to the brown cock next year. It might even come out of there and go to a different cock this year. Like I said, I'm going to clean out the shed this weekend where the stock van reeds are, take those 7 cocks out of there, and then we're going to put some more selected birds, just selected birds. And I have another really nice almond cock that I haven't used this year, purely and simply because he was playing havoc going in and out of everybody's nest. So I'll try him again in this other section prior. So he's going into a brand new loft with brand new pigeons, and he's got to find his own feet. That might just settle him down in one nest box, guys, and then hopefully we'll get him settled and we'll use him with a yellow hen or something like that, and put some yellow into the almonds as well if we can. So that's my intentions, guys. Right, okay, not much on the growing area today. I was going to nip round the back of the shed and continue with the IBC, but to be honest with you, I'm back at work tomorrow, so I'm just having a chill out day today. Like I said, I didn't come up here until about 1 o'clock this afternoon, and it was predominantly check on the youngsters, make sure everything's fine, checking the health of the birds, and I've achieved that, and we've got the other 4 youngsters out of the nest now, and leave the other birds to just settle down on their second rounds of eggs. So guys, hope you've enjoyed this little update. If it's getting a bit much, just let me know. Comments in the sections below. As always, guys, stay safe, be practical, and keep yourselves out of harm's way. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.